So my name is Alina Sakharova, and I'm representing a company, Main Partner Trust. That is a Cyprus-based company specializing in migration, consultancy, tax advice, and law services as well. So the presentation I'm going to deliver you on the Cyprus Permanent Residency Program will be not just to tell you what are the criteria, because you might Google that very, very easy on the internet, but I will also touch important aspects such as tax, the situation on the real estate market, and some legal, give you some legal insights as well, so what is going on. So why Cyprus? I will start first. So it's a member of the EU, European Union. It's, well, obvious. When we are talking about the permanent residency program, as we said before, it's not about the document per se, but at some point people would like to relocate and people would like to settle in the country or to live there. When you live in the country, it's very, very important for you a tax system. So what is a tax system in Cyprus? I will not give you a deep dive, but I will briefly tell you how it works. And well, just to here, I would like to mention that for private individuals and for the companies, the tax regime is very, very nice compared to other European countries as Switzerland, France, Italy, Germany, and so on and so forth. So Cyprus also has, in terms of taxation as well, the double taxation treaty with more than 60 other countries. So it's quite favorable. It's a common law jurisdiction, well, meaning common law. It's an English law. It's based on the precedents. We take a lot of precedents basically from the UK law, and well, it's a very, very convenient. In terms of languages, when we come to the country, we always pay attention to the languages. So actually in Cyprus there are two official languages that are Greek, and you would be surprised, Turkish. Although there is a conflict between Cyprus and Turkey as well. But the majority of the population, they speak English as well, and even some legal documents are published in English and translated in English as well. So if you go to the government authorities, you can find the old laws in Greek, but all the new laws will be also translated into English, and you can easily communicate in English on the island. Last but not least, it's a sunny island, so you will have a lot of sunny days, like here in Abu Dhabi, but maybe even, not more, but a little bit less compared to the continental Europe. So we move to the next slide, and I will not give you a deep dive on taxation. Whoever wants to ask me about taxes, so please feel free to come and question me afterwards. But just for your understanding that there is no capital gain tax for the private individuals, there is no dividend tax for the private individuals. There is a special regime that was borrowed from the UK that is called non-domiciliary tax regime in Cyprus. So you have the special treatment in terms of taxes for the number of years if you have not been born in Cyprus or your relatives are not Cypriots. What is important to say, the taxation system is also very favorable for the digital nomads, so for those who are traveling and working from different places, because you can have this special taxation regime if you spend in the island, in Cyprus, minimum 60 days. So 60 days, it's not a lot, 60, it's basically 2 months. You do not need to combine them and, spend them all together. So you can break them down throughout the year. And, at the end of the day, if you comply with some other criteria, you can receive the special tax treatment. Also, a lot of people not relocating only by themselves, but they are relocating companies. So for the companies, in general, the taxation is, there is a tax on profit 12.5%. It's also very considered to be very low for the EU. And there are special regimes for the IT companies called IP box regimes, where basically the profit of the company can be low. The tax of the profit can be lowered to 2-3% on in total. So we just learned about taxation, and now we are getting to the criteria for the permanent residency permit. So the permanent residence permit can give you the basically indefinite right to stay in the country while you have the object of investment. So in our case, it's real estate still with you. So you are not allowed to sell the investments. The investment that you purchase for the program. You can sell one investment and replace it by another investment, but you cannot stay without investment at all. For the application, you can, as a main applicant, you can also attach your families. So, meaning you can also arrange for the residency permit for your wife, for your kids, even for the kids that are older than 18 years old. So there is a possibility to arrange for the residency permit for the kids from 18 to 25 years old, if you can show that they are financially dependent on you and or they are studying. So they are in the university. What are the basic requirements to participate in the program? So basic requirement, the first one is to show that you will not, upon the receipt of the residency permit, you will not run and use the public services straight away and will not apply for the unemployment and so on and so forth. So therefore, every applicant should be able to prove that their income deriving from the sources outside of Cyprus is more than 50,000 euro per year. So it's not a lot, I would guess. Everybody who is applying for the permanent residency permit will be able to prove that. It can be proven by the tax declarations from another country, by the pay slips, by dividend payments, by any other sources that you have. We can look at this in more details. Also, if you are attaching and doing the residency permit for your family members, you should also sponsor them as well. So in this case, you should give and provide additional proof of income in case you attach your wife and do the residency for your wife and for your kids. So the cost of the wife is 15K. The cost of one kid is 10K. Basically how it works, so the main applicant should show the minimum income as explained in the picture, 50K. Spouse plus one kid will add up to 50K, additional 15 plus 10, so it will be 75. And then if you have a spouse with the two kids, for example, so spouse is 15K and both kids are 20K. So we add it up to the main applicant, and then we receive the total income per year. Unfortunately, it's not possible to also arrange for the residency permit of the parent, or for the cousin, or for some other family members other than husband, wife, and kids. So that's not possible at all. Although before it was, but now the program has changed. So then we are going to the second criteria, and second criteria is actually a purchase of real estate. Where is that? So in order to be able to participate in the program, apart from the income, you also need to purchase a real estate. So you can you have basically two options. So you can purchase residential real estate, so a flat or a house, for the total sum 30K plus a VAT, or you can buy for the same price commercial real estate. So what is actually the difference in the requirements here? The residential real estate you need to purchase from the developer, and commercial real estate you can purchase either from the developer or from the secondary market, meaning, well, from somebody else. And you should keep this investment as long as you have a residency permit. As said, you can replace one investment by another, but you always need to keep the investment. So in terms of real estate market, well, we have here an overview. If somebody interested, I will be once again very happy to share the slides. But well, since 2022, if we look at the statistics, we had in Cyprus, well, top one nationality who applied for the passport for the residency permits were Russians, and well, the percentage of the whole applicants is 37%, so it's huge, and the market is booming because people actually relocated. So we have here the breakdown of the transaction by type and the transaction by volume. So we have a difference between houses and apartments. And as you can see, apartments, they are leading in all the segments. Then we have houses and offices. Well, basically they're more or less on the same size, and then we have land and some other in commercial investments as well. Then we have also breakdown for the district. So the district that is now leading is Limassol. We have Limassol doesn't have any more space, so it's booming. There are a lot of construction, but it's also the main point of relocation for 2022. So it's quite hard to rent a flat, so people are looking after flats. That's why, going back to the previous slides, you saw that the apartment sector is actually booming compared to the houses. Then we have transactions by volume. It's also, well, once again, Limassol as a top leading city, or basically it's near the sea, and well, you have limited space. Even less than in Abu Dhabi, so you cannot put a lot of skyscrapers, and actually local people or people who relocate in the more 4 or 5 floors apartments, so you cannot put them on the whole in the whole town. So the space is really limited. So additional criteria for the program: when you have the residency permit by investments, as in the majority of countries, you are not allowed to work. That's self-explainable. You should have a clear criminal record, and nowadays we know that you need to have also a clean and ideal source of funds to be able to pass the checks and get the approval as well. From May, you also need to have a health insurance. That's also makes sense, since in the EU, every resident of the EU need to have a health insurance. It's not a big expense. It's like 200 euro per 300 euro per year. But just keep in mind you need to have it. The new criteria that we have is that the real estate investment that you are making, in case it's a residential investment, it should be suitable for the whole family that is that is applying. So basically, if you are buying a studio and you have a family with a wife and 4 kids, so there is a chance that the migration department will say no, because simply if you decide really to relocate in this studio, you will not be able to live there, and the proportion and meters per person are below the standards that are required for the country. So we'll skip the preparation procedures and all the steps that you need to to do. So the main benefits, well, we have slightly touched. So I believe the main benefit it's well, EU taxation. The residency permit actually doesn't require you to live in the country. You just need to travel to the country once for 1 day every 2 years. So 1 day every 2 years, it's also not a big commitment. Yeah, well, and at some point, if you decide to stay in the country, you can apply for the passport by naturalization if you will be really living there. Yes. And now is my favorite and maybe, well, probably the last slide, why it's important to have professional help. As a lot of people, well, they just, we saw examples where they go to the developer, they buy real estate and then somehow submit the documents to the immigration department, hoping to get the permit. So it's not that easy, to be honest, since you're going to the country you are not very much familiar with. We recommend that you do a check on the real estate and review the documents of the real estate and ensure that all the permits are in place, like a building permit, planning permit, and other permits. Also to ensure that you are buying the real estate from the developer and that the person who is selling is actually, or a company who is selling is actually a developer. And we saw the cases where basically people were thinking that they're buying a real estate from developer, but after the checks, it's appeared that the company didn't have a proper license. So they bought real estate is still with them, but they cannot apply for the residency permit at the end of the day because it's not in line with the requirements. Also, what we can see, well, a lot of developers, they built with the use of loans and mortgages. So we usually do also the checks through the pledges and mortgages and ensure that the flat of the client or apartment of the client, real estate object of the client that the client is about to purchase is free of any mortgages or any obligations. So in case there are mortgages, we also communicate with the banks to ensure that the bank actually gives a waiver and the pledge, for example, and the property is released from the pledge. And we see it very often. So in case you're decided to invest into the property that has not been built yet, also what we can see that the delivery dates are not always the exact one that are indicated in the contract. So you should be able to negotiate the contract, or like we, the lawyer, should be able to negotiate the contracts to identify and set the delivery dates, the penalties for the late delivery dates, and what we can also see, the force majeure events should be clearly identified, not including lack of materials or bad weather or something like that, that can be, well, that are not really force majeures per se. Also, you need to submit, in order to buy the property in Cyprus, you need to submit the documents to the local authorities, and the local authorities are called a council of minister, and you need to get an approval. So we also take care of this part as well for yourself. And in case you, as a investor, you are not planning to rent out the property, but you are rather decided that you will relocate yourself and live there, we are also be able to reduce the VAT from 19% to 5%. So it's a big benefit as well. Well, also be careful with the renting out of the real estate. It can require a special license from 2022. It also can tax some taxes. So before you're about to before you sign any rental contracts, we suggest that you communicate or discuss or seek an advice from a lawyer or a tax advisor. So I guess, well, that's all from myself. In case you have any questions about the Cyprus residency, permanent residency program, so please do not hesitate to contact me. I can also be useful and try to address your questions in terms of taxation. And in case you have any legal questions as well, I'm here to help. So not only migration, but the scope of the important questions that people are considering before relocation or before applying for the permanent residency. Thank you very much.